the axe is already swinging. In the past year alone, the Ariya, the Honda Prologue, the Mercedes EQB, the VW ID Buzz paused, the Kona Electric paused, the Kia EV4 delayed indefinitely, the Ram electric pickup canceled before launch, more than 20 EVs dead or frozen, and the cutting is not finished. Today, I am ranking the 12 EVs most likely to be discontinued next, reading the same warning signs that predicted the last wave. Collapsing sales, skipped model years, farewell editions, and gas replacements waiting in the wings. If you own one, are shopping one, or are about to sign on one, this is the list to see first. Let's get into it. Starting at number 12, with the easiest prediction on the board, the Toyota BZ Woodland. Regular viewers met this one on the flops list, the rugged, cladding-covered adventure trim of America's best-selling non-Tesla EV that sold just 554 units in an entire quarter, while the standard BZ moved thousands. Here is why variants like this die first. A trim level is the cheapest thing in the industry to kill. No factory closes, no platform retires, no headlines get written. The accountants simply stop allocating production, and the configurator quietly loses a button. And the Woodland's math is unforgivable. It costs Toyota real money to build a separate version with unique bumpers, rails, and suspension tuning for a few hundred buyers a quarter, when every one of those build slots could be a standard BZ that sells the day it lands. The prediction: the Woodland disappears within 2 model years, folded into an accessory package if it survives at all. The silver lining for contrarians, orphan trims become used market curiosities, and the handful of Woodland buyers will own the rarest Toyota EV ever sold in America. That is a strange kind of collectible, but it is not a reason to pay sticker for one today. Number 11 is the sibling being quietly starved, the Kia EV6. Nothing has been announced, and that is exactly the point, because the pattern around it speaks louder than a press release. Sales fell 37% year over year, while its EV9 big brother grew 35%. Kia canceled the EV9 GT performance model outright. The EV4 sedan's American launch is delayed indefinitely. The Niro EV was already dropped from the lineup. Kia is pruning its EV tree branch by branch, and the EV6 is the branch with the weakest numbers. Look at the strategic squeeze. Below it, the cheaper EV3 arrives to own the entry point. Above it, the EV9 owns the family dollar. In the middle, the EV6 shares nearly everything with the Hyundai Ioniq 5, a sibling that outsells it 5-1 and just took the non-Tesla sales crown. When one platform feeds 2 cars and one of them is a superstar, the corporate math eventually asks why the other exists. The refreshed EV6 is a better car than its numbers. As I said on the performance bargains list, the GT is a hidden gem, but better has never saved a slow seller from a spreadsheet. The prediction: the standard EV6 survives 1 more refresh cycle at most in America, with the GT trim dying first. The buyer play stays the same as before. The discounts on a deprioritized model are real. The 10-year warranty outlives any discontinuation. And orphaned EV6s will be used bargains for years. Just buy it knowing you may be buying the last of them. Number 10 comes with the most ominous birthday party in the industry, the GMC Hummer EV. This month, GMC unveiled the Hummer EV Icon 25, a limited run commemorative edition celebrating 25 years of the Hummer nameplate, revealed at the ESPYs among athletes and celebrities. It sounds like a celebration. Students of automotive history know it often reads like a eulogy. Farewell editions, anniversary specials, and heritage packages have a long tradition of arriving 1 to 2 years before a nameplate quietly exits, the industry's way of harvesting the last premium dollars from the faithful before the line stops. Now, stack the signal on top of the numbers we already know. Hummer EV sales fell roughly 56% year over year in Q2. The base price starts at $97,825 in a market that has decisively turned toward value. The entire 6-figure electric truck experiment is retreating around it. The Lightning dead, the Ram REV canceled before launch, Cybertruck demand cooled. GM is still investing enough to give the 2027 models a native NACS port. So this is not an imminent death. but a 9,000-pound, $100,000 statement vehicle selling at half its former pace, wearing a commemorative edition, in a company actively cutting EV production to match demand? The trajectory only points one way. The prediction: the Hummer EV survives through 2027, then either dies outright or shrinks to a single halo trim. If you want one, the Icon 25 may end up the collector's pick, and the discounts on standard trims will keep deepening until the end. Number 9 is the quietest death in progress in the entire market, the Ford E-Transit. The numbers from the Q2 flops video bear repeating because they are barely believable. 293 vans sold in 3 months, down 88% from a year ago. This was once the best-selling electric van in America. Now, it moves fewer than 100 units a month across all 50 states. The mechanism killing it is pure spreadsheet. Fleet buyers purchase on math alone, and when the federal incentives died, the math died. Gas transits cost less upfront, refuel anywhere, and the sustainability targets that justified electric fleets quietly slipped down the corporate priority list. Ford, meanwhile, has redirected its entire electric future toward the new universal platform and next year's affordable truck. Nothing in Ford's public roadmap suggests the current E-Transit gets another generation, and $19 billion of EV losses buys a lot of ruthlessness about what survives. The prediction? The E-Transit is discontinued or replaced within 18 months, most likely superseded by a universal platform commercial vehicle later this decade. The practical note: if you run a small business and the van fits your routes, dealers holding E-Transit inventory will make deals that border on charity. Fleet clearance pricing on a vehicle nobody is buying is how the sharpest commercial bargains have always been made. Number 8 is the rare entry with a confirmed executioner, the BMW iX. This is not reading tea leaves. BMW's own launch calendar is the death warrant. The new iX3 arrives this year on the new Class A platform with 434 miles of range and 400 kilowatt charging. The just revealed iX5 follows with 435 miles, built in South Carolina. Against hardware 2 generations newer, the aging iX, 1,657 units moved as it winds down, has nowhere left to stand. What makes the iX unique on this list is that it is dying with its dignity fully intact. This remains one of the most comfortable, best built, most reliable luxury EVs of its generation, the reliability champion of multiple rankings we have cited across this channel. It did nothing wrong except get old while its own maker built its replacement. That is the healthiest kind of discontinuation, a planned generational handoff, not a market rejection. The prediction is barely a prediction. The iX exits the American lineup as the iX5 ramps, likely within the year. The buyer note carries over from the flops video. Outgoing generation clearance is cut deepest at the changeover, and an iX at a funeral sale price remains one of the best luxury EV values in America for the buyer who wants comfort over the newest platform. Number 7 is a flagship whose own name is being erased, the Mercedes EQS. The warning sign here is bigger than one car. It is the entire EQ brand. Look at what Mercedes is doing with its new models. The electric GLC is not called the EQC. It is the GLC with EQ technology. The electric C-Class will be an electric C-Class, not an EQC sedan. Mercedes has publicly walked back the separate EQ naming strategy, and the EQB was already discontinued last year, pulled quietly from the configurator. When a company stops naming cars after your sub-brand is dying, and the EQS is the flagship of that dying sub-brand. The car gave critics plenty of ammunition along the way. We covered it on the reliability warning list, the climate control complaints, the software lockouts, water leaks that should never appear at 6 figures, and reviewers who found the jelly bean styling unworthy of an S-Class badge. Sales never met ambitions. Mercedes has committed to a major refresh with 800-volt architecture. But read the tea leaves. The long-term plan points toward a true electric S-Class under the S-Class name, not an EQS forever. The prediction: the EQS nameplate survives the refresh, then retires when the electric S-Class generation arrives. The badge quietly absorbed back into the family it should have belonged to all along. The buyer math follows the pattern of every entry so far. Current EQS models are discounting hard, used examples have cratered to half price, and a flagship at 50 cents on the dollar is a bargain for the buyer who accepts the software quirks and the orphan name. Number 6 is the invasion that is quietly becoming an evacuation, VinFast. The VF8 and VF9 landed in America 3 years ago with billboard budgets and disruption promises. Today, the brand moves only hundreds of vehicles a month nationwide. The stock has collapsed since its public debut, and the Vietnamese parent conglomerate keeps writing billion-dollar checks to keep the American operation breathing. Meanwhile, VinFast's actual growth, the expansion the company celebrates in press releases, is happening in Vietnam, Indonesia, and India, markets where the brand makes sense and the tariff math works. That geographic shift is the tell. Companies do not announce American retreats. They simply stop investing here while talking loudly about growth elsewhere until one quarter the US sales line vanishes from the report. Every signal points that way. Minimal marketing, a dealer network that never scaled, and a product line whose reputation never recovered from those brutal launch reviews we covered in the most hated EVs video. The prediction: VinFast withdraws from the US market within 2 years, following the same quiet exit path the Ariya took. Inventory sell-off first, official announcement later, service commitments maintained through third parties. The buyer warning is the strongest on this list so far. The 10-year warranty is only as good as the company's American presence, and a $20,000 used VF8 is cheap for exactly that reason. This is the one discount on today's list I would not touch. Number 5 is the car I keep defending that keeps not selling. The Fiat 500e. Regular viewers have seen the full arc, the flop list for moving mere hundreds of units, then the redemption on the insurance video as one of the cheapest EVs in America to cover, then the 5-year ownership list where the fire sale discounts made the math work for city drivers. All of that remains true, and none of it will save this car. The problem is that the 500e answers a question Americans refuse to ask. 149 miles of range in a tiny city car is a perfectly rational European vehicle sold to a country that buys trucks. Stellantis, $27 billion into its EV write-down, canceling programs across every brand, has no incentive to keep importing a slow seller whose entire annual volume equals one good week of Jeep Wrangler sales. The Italian factory serves Europe. America is an afterthought shipment. The prediction: the 500e exits the US lineup within a year, likely without an announcement. One day, the configurator just redirects for the right buyer. That makes the endgame clearance the play of the year. A deeply discounted city runabout with bottom-tier insurance and warranty coverage that survives the exit. Adorable, doomed, and briefly, brilliantly cheap. Number 4 has already done the thing dying models do: the Jeep Wagoneer S. Here's the verified fact that puts it this high on the list. Jeep confirmed the Wagoneer S skips the 2026 model year entirely. No 2026 version exists. The official story is a strategic pause. It returns for 2027 with a native NACS port and upgraded battery and software. The unofficial story is in the sales chart. Under 200 units in the first quarter once the tax credit expired. Not 200 a month. 203 months for a vehicle Jeep spent years developing as its electric flagship. Understand what a skipped model year historically means. The ID Buzz just did it. The Kona Electric did it. The pattern is that pause and return announcements preserve dignity while the company decides whether the return is worth the money. And the deciding factor is whether anything about the market improves in the gap. For the Wagoneer S, nothing is improving. The tax credit is not coming back. Stellantis is deeper into its $27 billion retreat than ever. And the vehicle's core problem, a $70,000 electric Jeep that looks like a crossover and off-roads like one too, has no software update. The prediction: the 2027 return either never ships in volume or arrives as a short-lived compliance effort before a quiet final discontinuation. Buyer guidance follows the Stellantis playbook from previous videos. Leftover 2025 inventory is discounting brutally, and a lease, never a purchase, lets you enjoy the discount, while Stellantis keeps the risk. The Wagoneer S is not likely to be discontinued next. In every way that matters, it already was. Number 3 is being replaced by its own twin, and the twin runs on gasoline. The Dodge Charger Daytona EV. The verified timeline reads like an execution schedule. The base RT trim postponed indefinitely, leaving the lineup gutted to a single Scat Pack trim. First quarter sales, under 2,000 units against the 11,000 gas Challengers Dodge moved in the same quarter 2 years earlier. And the killer detail, the gas-powered Charger 6-pack, with its twin-turbo inline 6, launches in the second half of this year, built on the same STLA, large platform, in the same factory, wearing the same body. That last fact is the whole story. Dodge engineered the new Charger as multi-energy from day one, electric and gas versions of one car. The EV launched first and flopped. The gas version arrives to a customer base that never stopped shouting that it wanted engines. The moment 6-pack production ramps, every factory slot becomes a choice between building a Charger that sells and a Charger that needs $20,000 on the hood to move. Corporations do not agonize over that choice. The muscle car buyer made the decision for Dodge, and the fire sale discounts we covered on the Performance Bargains video are the market clearing the evidence. The prediction: the Charger Daytona EV dies within 2 model years. Remembered as the muscle car experiment that proved the sound was never optional. The buyer play stands from the performance video. 670 horsepower at 20,000 off is a wild deal, but lease it or buy with a full warranty, because you are buying a car whose replacement is already on the boat. And when it goes, the Fratonic roaring Daytona becomes a strange footnote collectors may one day argue about. Number 2 is the only entry on this list discontinued by the federal government: the Polestar 3 and Polestar 4. Regular viewers know the story from my earlier coverage. The Commerce Department refused Polestar authorization to sell new vehicles in America, starting with the 2027 model year under the connected vehicle rule, because majority owner Geely is a Chinese conglomerate. It did not matter that the Polestar 3 is built in South Carolina. It did not matter that the software is Google and the hardware is Qualcomm. Ownership was the trigger, and the ban is final. So this is not a prediction, it is a countdown clock. Polestar can sell remaining 2026 model year inventory, support existing owners, and run its service network. But no new Polestars enter America after the current stock clears. That makes every Polestar on a dealer lot right now a discontinued car that does not know it yet, and the market has already priced the funeral. Dealers are slashing enormous amounts off remaining inventory, discounts that exist precisely because the brand has no American future. The buyer math is the strangest on this entire list. The cars themselves are genuinely well engineered. Volvo bones, strong safety, distinctive design. The warranty and service commitments continue. But resale will be brutal. The software future is uncertain, and you would own an orphan by federal decree. The play, if any, a short lease at fire sale pricing, exactly like the Stellantis playbook. Enjoy the discount, return the risk. As a purchase, only for the buyer who runs cars into the ground and never sells. Polestar built its best cars right as the door closed on them. And the EV most likely to be discontinued next is also the best car on this list, the Chevrolet Bolt. The reporting is consistent and the signals are unmistakable. Production at the Fairfax plant runs a single shift. Output is deliberately throttled, and the line is reportedly scheduled to stop next year. GM revived America's cheapest EV as a bridge product. And bridges are built to be crossed, not lived on. What makes this the #1 entry is the tragedy of the timing. The Bolt is not failing. It is being abandoned while winning. It just topped my 5-year ownership cost ranking as the cheapest EV in America to live with. It sits among the cheapest to insure. Every unit built finds a buyer almost immediately. $28,995, 255 miles, an LFP battery that shrugs off degradation, and a native NACS port into the supercharger network. In a market screaming for affordable EVs, GM built the answer and scheduled its funeral. because the margins on a cheap EV will never beat the margins on trucks and Cadillacs, and the next generation affordable platform is coming behind it. The prediction, sadly, requires no courage. Production ends next year as reported, remaining inventory sells instantly, and used Bolts become the default recommendation of every budget EV guide for the rest of the decade, which makes the buyer guidance the most urgent words on this list. If the Bolt's math fits your life, the window is open now and measured in months. The best value in American EVs is a limited time offer, and the clock started months ago. 12 predictions, 1 pattern. Discontinuation is not random. It telegraphs. Skipped model years, farewell editions, gutted trim lineups, gas twins in the wings, sub-brands losing their names. Read those signals, and you saw the Ariya, the Prologue, and the EQB coming a year early. Read them now, and you see this list. For buyers, the signals cut both ways. A dying model with a strong warranty and a transferable battery guarantee, the Bolt, the iX, the EQS is a clearance bargain. A dying model from a dying operation, the VinFast, is a trap wearing a discount. Know which one is in front of you before you sign, and dying cars become some of the smartest money in the market. And when the axe falls on these 12, you will have heard it here first. That scoreboard video is coming. I am Nick, this has been Nick's Car View, and I will see you in the next one.